So the brand was founded in Cheyenne in 1969, and for decades was based in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Nothing against Cheyenne, Wyoming, but it was a struggle for talent for certain functions that come to Cheyenne. So the family it's still family-owned company. They're still very much Wyoming-based. The brand will remain in Cheyenne forever, but the operating, marketing, the operating functions are going to be here in Minneapolis. And again, as I mentioned, so we have access to wonderful talent that is here in the Twin Cities.
The headquarters are fantastic. I think that kind of goes in line with all the growth that you have seen over the last 5 years. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that, and just the brand repositioning and some of the components that go into that. Can you talk a little bit more about just the evolution over the last 5 years and on its changes?
Yeah. I think the brand had a bit of an identity crisis. The quality positioning for some folks meant fast casual, right? And fast casual is a wonderful category, Moe's, Chipotle, and the like. But fast casual is a very different business. It's primarily sit down, it's not fast, and it's also more expensive. And so we kind of dabbled in that space, but said, recently we said, we're a quick serve restaurant company, which means speed of service is going to be important, which means value is going to be important. We didn't have value in our brand. We launched a value menu. We're going to talk about now the value that we define through the app. Our belief is that we can and should be the first quality value brand in the category. So think about what Wendy's is to McDonald's. We want to be to Taco Bell.
I've used that ever since we talked last week. I'm like talking about Taco John's, and I think that analogy is a great way to think soon changes when we continuously approach it. So I think every brand has a story coming out of the pandemic, good or bad. I mean, you guys have a really great story coming out of the pandemic. Can you talk a little bit about that? And just, obviously moving headquarters here, that must have been a huge quick pivot for you. What did you guys learn? What did you see? What has changed? I mean, obviously we saw a lot of what came out of the pandemic, but can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. As I kind of alluded to, so imagine it's, winter, spring of 2020, and, if your function was moving to Minneapolis, it might have been March 2020, and you're driving across Nebraska with all of your loaded belongings in the backseat of your car, and you find out everything that's going on. And so, I kind of liken it to, the brand was in the middle of this massive transition. Society was in the middle of this massive transition. And in those early days, it was about, in the very early days, it was about, are the restaurants going to be able to remain open? If they are, when they are going to be able to remain open, are we going to have consistent supply? Are we going to be able to have consistent team members being able to show up, being able to work and such? And so it was just an incredibly chaotic time for the brand. I think we found that, the heart and soul of the brand really turned out in terms of the commitment from everybody every day to turn up and, it was we would develop a new procedure based on whatever was happening, with health regulation changes on a daily basis. We would develop a new procedure at 10 a.m. and launch it at 2 p.m. And so, so it built a camaraderie, it built teamwork, it built kind of a commitment to real-time innovation that I think spurred some growth for us, because I think it's a cultural tenet now. You see our cultural tenets on the wall everywhere, and that I think has propelled us. We had, during the pandemic, we had some of the highest same-store sales growth of any brand in the category. I mean, we're talking Starbucks and McDonald's here and such, and that kind of that spirit of entrepreneurship is lingering to this day.
I think with every big change and friction, there's always innovation, and for a lot of brands, it forced innovation and forced, everyone to look at their business differently, and I think, that tees you guys up perfectly for the next 5 years. So, just in looking at, I want to talk a little bit more about the brand strategy. You and I talked last week about the value menu, the breakfast menu, can you talk a little bit more about the menu items and how you reposition those, especially with, changing consumer demand? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, kind of our, kind of further expand on the premise of the brand and menu is this notion that in every city in America, there is a Taco Bell that we kind of reference the quality perception. So we can get high quality Taco Bell. On the flip side, every city in America has a Chipotle, and but Chipotle can be expensive and time consuming in every car. So we want to smack that, and we believe that every city in America has that opportunity. That's the white space that we're looking for. And what that means from a menu innovation perspective is, launching better, high-quality products and really reevaluating every item on the menu to make sure that it meets our quality standards. So, for example, we have the line of quesadillas that are wonderful products, but we did a holistic menu quality study, and unfortunately, ranking one of the lowest quality rankings of any product on our menu. So Chef Brad and the team reevaluated that product. We added a 4-cheese blend, Asadero, Queso Blanco, of course, I don't know, I forget the other two, Brad will run me, but so 4-cheese blend, and we invested in equipment. So there are new Mary Chef ovens in every restaurant that constantly deliver a higher quality, hotter quesadilla with distinctive grill marks. And so it was about not only menu innovation, but equipment innovation. And that's just an example of significant investment we're going to make in terms of growing these quality perceptions.
I think that's what positions you differently from Taco Bell. So let's talk a little bit about the brand persona, the work that you have done with your ad agency lately, and we talked about that last week, but let's lean into that a little bit more, and just how coming out of the pandemic, coming out of a lot of these changes that you've quickly adapted, how has that work with your agency changed, and what's changed about your digital media? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. No, again, you see the imagery here, and for those of you, familiar with our restaurants, again, 50-year-old brands of our restaurants themselves they're sprucing up, right? They need remodel. And so the brand's on this very interesting precipice where over the course of the next 3 years, something like 70% of our franchise agreements allow for a remodel. And so we had to develop a remodel that looked dramatically different than our existing restaurants. So our existing restaurants, respectively, Rico 1970, whatever. And so we worked with the team of Adrian Weiss in Chicago, and they developed the imagery that you saw in the video. And I mean, it just looks dramatically different. And so it kind of is a beacon on the block, right? You don't have the biggest advertising budget, and so the imagery of the restaurant itself, that is the best billboard for the brand. And so, so we launched that. We're in the process of remodeling. We're in the process of building new units with that imagery, and the response has been, that is the most amazing thing is that we measure all aspects of the business, whether it's speed of service, number of cleanliness, you name the measure, and regardless of even the non-facility related measures, they're all dramatically higher, in this restaurant versus our older restaurants, and so it just changes the consumer perception of the brand almost at first sight.
Okay, great. That's the best way to get out there is to see all of it, and it's unique because it's clean, but it's still true to the brand as it started, which I think is important. So you don't want to walk away from that. Let's talk a little bit about growth markets. You and I talked. I think we're almost at 400.
Yeah, 370-ish.
Yeah, it's close. So I know we were talking last week about some of the strategy behind that. Can you talk a little bit more about just what markets are coming up and why and thoughts behind that?
Yeah. So I think because of some of the same sort of sales growth we've seen, the brand has been really attractive to the investment community and such. And we struck a strategic alliance with the largest franchisee of Wendy's. They have 400 Wendy's locations, and Wendy's is half of them. They wanted to get into the Mexican food serve arena, and they didn't want to go to Southern California. So we were a great option for them. We've struck a deal with them where they could open up to 150 locations within the next 10 years. And so they opened first, we opened Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's how and we'll spread eastward in Michigan to Detroit. We just opened in Cincinnati, Ohio 3 weeks ago. For the separate group, we just opened in Boston, Massachusetts, Nashville, Tennessee last year. And so all of these markets we've just deemed to be great opportunities for the brand because of high Mexican food consumption. The EDI in those markets are higher. And we feel like, again, there's a unique niche for us in the marketplace, regardless of the number of Taco Bells and Bells and which opens.
I appreciate your quote from the Wall Street Journal. They did see that headline, and I'm like, it's coming for us. So now that we're all safe as marketers, looking at the next year as the CMO of Taco John's, I know we talked a lot about innovation and the things that are coming up for you guys, but if you had to name the top 3 things that you're looking at over the next year, with HQ being in Minneapolis, what are you really focused on in terms of just building on this momentum that you guys have seen?
Yeah, I think we're still very much in the early innings. Still putting pieces together, and we're still kind of gelling as a team. And I just know that there are, there's so many things that we're going to be able to build. It's kind of like building blocks. And I believe our growth will accelerate as more and more pieces come together. Like I say, I think we're doing some really great things from a menu perspective. I think we're doing some really great things from a digital perspective. Our head of digital engagement will be sitting on the panel and talk a little more about that. But we're, for example, our digital mix is about 15%. That our competitor, fast food competitors are called north of 20. As we close that gap quickly, and we're doing a ton to do that, there's just going to be that much more upside for us. And so between digital, what more we do with the remodels, what more we do with the menu, we think that there is 5 to 10 years of growth. And for every restaurant we build, that's more dollars into our media offers that can take us from a medium player from a media perspective and help us grow our share of voices.
I would be remiss to not ask you what is your favorite item on the menu and what should we look forward to today for lunch?
Ooh, boy. Are we doing the mango shrimp street tacos? Here we are. Okay. So you have. I don't want to give away too many stuff. The mango shrimp street tacos are the best. If you like, it's got a very fresh, cute salsa. It's terrific. Of course, potato lays. It's our brand treasure. It is, and Brad, I'm sure, will have an opportunity to describe for you precisely why a potato lay is what it is. So we'll share about that. But those are
great. I'm a huge fan. So it has been such a pleasure talking with you today. It's been wonderful learning more about the growth you have planned. And I know I speak for everyone. I'm excited to see what's to come. So thank you very much.
Thank you.